Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for July 17th, 2022. So, well, I wanted to say that this week went weird, but I think that's like what happens every week. I've just given up trying to distinguish. I think it's really funny because I didn't really notice that I was doing that until someone mentioned that I said it all the time. And now I'm like, yeah, but every week is different. And it's really weird how things just kind of flow differently. I don't have like a standard what I get done every week. It's always kind of fluctuates. And so like I always think, oh, I'm going to get all this stuff done. And then I don't, and I switch gears and flip to something else, which is so like me. Anyway, so this week I only finished 6 things. I still finished 6 things. They weren't, some of them I was progress in, some of them are fairly short. So it just wasn't what I planned to read, if that makes any sense. So, other than that, I did kind of fall down. I did buy some of these little flags that I keep seeing everybody buy on Amazon. I admit I did a little shopping on Amazon Prime Day. I admit it. And I think I got some of these. So, not like I needed. I have like little sticky notes but these ones look kind of cool. Anyway, I haven't used them yet. I just got a pack of them. And I did want to mention that I did pick up Kindle Unlimited. So I have never let myself get Kindle Unlimited because I have so many Kindle books and I have so many physical books. But the deal on Prime Day was pretty good. It was $5 for 4 months. And I thought, well, this gives me a shot to try it and try a lot of those books that I want to buy, but I just want to try first. So a lot of the independent ones and self-pub ones that I've seen around. So even though I bought a lot of independent and self-pub recently, physically, because that's how I rather read them, there's a lot of them that I don't want to buy that I wouldn't want to try. So I'm letting myself have it for 4 months. I was looking into doing that just for my vacation coming up in August. I'm going with my family, and I don't want to take a lot of books. We're just going to family in the Midwest. So I don't want to take a lot of books because I might buy some books while I'm there, but mostly I just want to have my Kindle. And I thought, well, this way I have choices. So maybe not the best thing. And then the only other thing, I bought a few books that were on sale and I bought some new headphones, so Prime Day, I didn't spend too much money really, except for the books. Anyway, so I think that's kind of all I think I want to say. Yeah, I'll cut to the other part later. So let's talk about the books I'm in that I've read, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So the first book I finished on Sunday was Pride and Prescience? I don't know how to say that word. To me, it looks like pre and science because I memorize words. I can't sound out words. I didn't hear all the way through 2nd grade when we were learning that stuff. Anyway, so this is Or a Truth Universally Acknowledged, Mr. and Mrs. Darcy Mystery by Carrie Breris. So this is the first in their series, and it follows the Pride and Prejudice retelling as after the wedding and things that happen from there. And this one, as I said, last week I was really enjoying just because I thought she did Darcy and Elizabeth really well. I thought they very much true to character. And it was until near the end of this, it kind of took a turn that I was like, I don't know if I really buy that, but it was still a fun mystery. It was nothing too serious. We have Caroline Bingley getting engaged at the wedding brunch of Jane and Elizabeth. That was pretty funny. But and some weird things start happening to her and her family, and then it builds up, and it was really a fun little ride. I definitely will read the second one to see if I continue the series. I thought I liked it enough, even though the ending wasn't what I really wanted. It was just fine. Like, as I said, it wasn't anything super great or anything. It was just fun thing. And again, I'm doing this. I read this for Jane Austen July. That's going on all month, put on by Katie at Books and Things, Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia at Spinster's Library. And as I said, every year I pick up tons of library books and read them instead of the books I have. I have a mystery that I've had on my shelf for years. The Jane Austen mysteries. Is it by Stephanie Baron? Something like that. And I still haven't read that. I picked it up for a minute and then I picked this up instead. So anyway, I finished this. So it was cute. It was fast reading. Pretty light for a mystery. But I liked she was, for me, a lot of retellings fail, which I'll talk about because I did have a DNF. I forgot. I just remembered. Anyway, because some fail because they do not, the characters are not close, are not realistic to me enough to what Jane Austen had them as in the retellings. And if you cross certain lines with me, it doesn't work. Anyway, so this one worked really well with the characters. I think they all played, even Carol, like they were really true to life kind of to me. Then I picked up a nonfiction book. This is one I picked up on Sunday at the library, was Jane Austen in Bath, Walking Tours of the Writer's City by Catherine Reeve. So I think I'd seen this on somebody's last year and then I forgot about it. And then it popped up in my things in the library when I was looking up something another Jane Austen. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. So, so it's just a really pretty little book that talks about places in Bath, and then it talks about Bath at that time when the times that she went and when she lived there. And it has, I think was it 5 or 4 walking? I can't now remember. There's 4 walks. And so they'll have like a map of the town and then they'll have numbers of which one, which place is what. And then they'll talk about that. And he'll talk about it between her relationship to it and then things that pop up in her books that do take place in Bath. So definitely good if you've read Persuasion or Northanger Abbey before getting into this. Even some of the other books are mentioned, but mostly those two because they actually take place one of them partly in Bath, or both of them are partly in Bath. So just really, this was just really good. I enjoyed reading those. This is definitely something, if I went to Bath, I would probably try to get a copy of this to do the walks, to see where Jane Austen walked around and the things that she saw, even though some of it's missing now. It's gone because it's been 2 centuries, but it's still so interesting. It was a cute little nonfiction book. So I mean, this month was definitely the month of nonfiction. For me, I haven't had much nonfiction this year, and then I definitely got to read some. So then I started reading some of my KU books, and the first one was one I just put on my wish list that I was thinking about buying for my vacation because it was a shifter romance, and I thought, oh, this looks kind of cute. So, and again, when I read it, I thought it was going to be something else, but it's fine. So it's Bear in a Bakery by Liz I don't know, Tathel or something close to that. Anyway, so this was just a cute little, like 150 kind of novella, and it's following a woman who's a baker, and she owns her own business, but she's on hard times. Everything keeps going wrong, and she doesn't know what's going on. And some raccoons broke into the bakery and just trashed it. And so she has to get a contractor, and the contractor is a bear shifter, and she has histories with bear shifters. So this is a world where bear shifters are out. Everybody knows about them. Like it just... So it's not like it's not like a surprise. Let's put it that way. It's in a world where they know that shifters exist. And right now, so far in this world, I've only seen bear shifters. So maybe it's just a bear shifter world. I don't know. Anyway, so, but this was really cute. It was just a cute thing. And I thought the characters were really, really good in it. And I really enjoyed it. So I, of course, then went on and read book 2, which was Sweeter Than Honey. And I like this one the best of the 3 that are, spoiler, I read the 3 that are out. I really liked Sweeter Than Honey because there was much more back history to the 2 main characters. This is another bear shifter and then another woman. This one, she's in trouble in a different way. It has to do with getting pregnant by another shifter, and then that shifter dying, and then people trying to kidnap her because now she has the heir to that pack. And of course she doesn't want anything to do with that because she's human, and he helps her at that. And this one was much cuter because they both had back histories. He has part of his family passed away in the past, and things, was not, he's still having trauma for that. And it was just, this was my favorite of the three. And then I finished off with Bear at a Bookstore. So, and again, these are all three part of the Etz Park Shifters. Sorry. So there's 3 out right now. A 4th one is coming out August 18th when I'll be on vacation. So it might be my read on the flight home. But anyway, so this one followed a woman who came to town is trying to get away from her past. This is kind of a theme here. And she's there to kind of restart her life because she's had a traumatic event in California. And this all takes place in Colorado, which was kind of cool because I hadn't recently read anything in Colorado. So that was cool. And so she is there to start this bookstore, and then she plans to, sell it and move on. But it's all her trying to get that ready, and the people that she meets. And there's some like scavenger hunt going on for treasure, and she gets kind of caught up into it. And so she and the bear that she meets he's kind of more into security, but he's also doing construction for his family kind of thing. It was just, they were just cute. Anyway, I really like this one too. But I still think it's my least favorite of the 3, only because she had so much PTSD issues. Sometimes it was hard to really like her sometimes because of the things she would do, but I get why it was done. I do not have that, so I do not know if it was a great representation, but I thought it made sense. Most of the things that happened, that doesn't mean, but it just wasn't my favorite. So anyway, so there's 3. The next one is called Wild in the Woods. So again, as I said, when it comes out, I'll probably be reading that. It was just cute. So those are my first Kindle Unlimited things that I read, and I read them this week all together. So I just couldn't pick up anything else. My brain just kind of shut down on some of the stuff I have already started, and I couldn't decide what to read. So I just picked that and went with it. Anyway, and then I did on Friday finish Jane Austen, A Life by Tomlin. So I've been reading this all month. So it took me 15 days to get through it, which is better. I thought I was going to read it like all month, like all the way, like only a chapter a day. But by a certain point, I just kind of got into it near the middle, and then I just finished it out on Friday. So this was a really good biography on Jane Austen. It's not my favorite. Only I think there's a few things that I think she kind of makes a stretch kind of guess at, which happens in every Jane Austen biography I've read. I mean, that's nothing new. There were just a few times where I feel like she just assumed in her mind that that's how it must have gone, a certain thing or a reason why Jane Austen did something or said something or wrote something. And I don't always agree with that, mostly because as somebody who writes for fun, though, not anything like that, my brain goes, there's things you just throw into your stories or you do that I don't think you can like say, oh, that's because somebody else had that happen to them. I don't know. I don't think you pull everything from somebody else's experience. I think there's a lot of stuff that just, creative license kind of thing. I don't know. There's a few times where I wasn't quite sure I believed that's really where something came from. But other than that, it was really thorough, going from her life to her death, and then even a chapter about her family, her close family, and because I didn't really know what ages they were when they passed, the ones who outlived her. And so it was really interesting to see that. I think it's a really in-depth one. This is definitely a slow read. Again, as I said, at first I was only able to read a chapter or 2, and just that was about all I could handle a day. And it wasn't until I got to near the end that I read it faster, just because I was ready to be done. And I'm glad I read this, and I'm sorry it took me a couple of years to get to it after I bought it, I think 2 years ago. Because last year I meant to read it, and I started it, like I read the first chapter, and then I never read anymore. So I'm glad I came back and read this year. I think it was really good. It's just very different from, like, I read The Real Jane Austen by Paula Byrne, which I thought was very different because it doesn't do everything in order. This is like everything in order timeline-wise. So again, that connects to my scheduler brain and makes it works that way. It's just a little better, but there was still, it was not perfect, of course. I don't think we're ever going to know we're never going to know everything. Let's put that way. We're never going to know everything about Jane Austen. I think she does a good job at guessing at some things, but sometimes I'm like, that's a little far. I don't know if I believe that. But I think with the information that we have and letters from other people around her, and that's about all we can do on certain things. So I think overall it was really great. I do recommend this as a biography for Jane Austen. I think it was really informative and I learned a lot in here, and I'm glad I got to that. So that's all the stuff I finished. Let's talk about my DNF. So yesterday I had this whole plan. I was going to finish this book that I was in the middle of, and then I had things I was going to start. Anyway, it didn't really work out. So, this is a book that I bought on my Kindle, I think a couple of years ago for Jane Austen July, because it is a Jane Austen July, it's a Pride and Prejudice retelling. But this one's called Pemberley, Mr. Darcy's Dragon, by Maria Grace. This is the first book in the Jane Austen's Dragons series. And I think there's like 6 or 7 books. I'm not sure. Anyway, I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's longer than I remembered from when I bought this first book. So, oh, my cats are chasing around and crying. Sorry. So this one is definitely one of those retellings of Pride and Prejudice where it's not close. Like it's really very, very different, but there's like little aspects that pop in with the same character names and the same kind of, some of the tropes, but not very many. My problem with this is I really liked Elizabeth. I liked the dragons that were put into it and the dragons that involved with the family, and some of them were just shocking or a little. I wasn't expecting certain things to be dragons and how they're all related to the property Longbourn and the dragon that's there, and then some littler ones, some little fairy dragons and stuff. It was really cute. I really liked some of the family things with the gardeners and their kids, and Mary got, kind of involved. It was kind of nice. My problem here was the men, and it was interesting is because I liked Mr. Gardner. Mr. Gardner was actually the best male character in here that I saw. And Bingley was just Bingley. Like we didn't see very much of him when I stopped. I got 50% of the way through and I couldn't do this anymore. But Mr. Bennet was so not Mr. Bennet. I have never seen an interpretation of him in this way, and I detested him from almost the very beginning. It was just not the Mr. Bennet that I would think of. So to me, it didn't work in the retelling because he was cruel to to Elizabeth and certain things of what she had to do for the family and stuff. And I was not happy with him, and the way he interacted with Darcy, who, again, I had issues with Darcy because we got into his head. And yeah, I didn't want to be there because he was just all thinking low of everybody, but also, had angst over what had started this. So this starts where the egg of Pemberley, a dragon egg, has been stolen, and he is on the hunt for it. And Mr. Bennet is asked for cooperation because they think it's in the area. And it was just this power struggle I wasn't expecting. It just went in ways I was hoping for, kind of like what Heart Song does, where it's different, but it also has the structure, and the characters are pretty much the same, but little tweaks here and there, but little ones. This was just I hated Mr. Bennet, which is not something I hate when I read the book or other interpretations or other retellings. And Mr. Darcy I was annoyed with him because it was taking too long for him to even be reflective that, as in that Elizabeth might have some value in helping out because she could talk to dragons. It was kind of, I don't know how I got there. Anyway, so that was a fail for me. So as I said, I got 50% of the way through, and I was just disappointed. It was a disappointment. Let's just put it that way. Because I'd had that as a backup, book to read for Jane Austen July for a couple of years since I first saw it. And now it's yeah. Well, anyway, I read one of my Kindle books, one of the ones I owned. So Anyway, so that was my one DNF. And then, so let's go through the books I'm in the middle of. I did start Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. This was published in 1819. So it is a little past Jane Austen's time but I think it's close enough. By then he's probably was thinking about it. I don't know. He was writing the Waverley novels. I think this is the last of them. I'm not sure. I've not read any Walter Scott before, so this was kind of, I didn't quite know what I was getting into. I didn't really realize it was kind of a Robin Hood retelling, or it is. I don't know. I didn't know anything about Ivanhoe. I actually went into this really, really blind. I knew it had to do with the time period of, what was it? King Richard the Lionheart, only because I read that on the back when I was talking about last week. So I didn't really know, and I didn't want to know. And so I went into it, and it was really interesting because we're getting Prince John and how he is, trying to consolidate his power before his brother comes back from being captured in the Crusades or leaving the Crusades or something like that. And Ivanhoe is the son of one of the Saxon landowners who Saxons and the Normans are really big in this because it's I don't remember what the year is, but it's like right around that time where they're very distinct groups of people from those who came over from France and the ones who were already there. So the Anglos, the Saxons, and the Normans. And so that's all very political that way. And one of the sons of one of the Saxon guys is kind of disinherited because he followed Richard the Lionheart to the Crusades. And then it's kind of a big tournament happens as where I got to. It had just finished, and Ivanhoe was, involved in that. Anyway, it was just very, very interesting. I don't know how else to explain that. So I read this one day at work. It was a slow day, and I got a lot done. And I had a lot of stuff on the computer to do, so I was just doing that. So I did that, and then I didn't feel like listening to an audiobook the rest of the week. So that's happened sometimes when I've listened to too many audiobooks in the last few weeks that my brain just goes, nope, I need a break. And so I did not pick this up again this week. I hope to pick this up tomorrow because I have a business trip. I'm going about an hour and a half, and then drive back to another location, and then that's about a half hour from where I work. So I'll be on the road for at least probably what would that be? That'd be like almost 6.5 hours probably of the day. Most of my day is going to be driving. No, that's not right. I'll be about 4.5. Like 4 hours is what I was figuring. Because it's 3. Anyway, something like that. I can't add today. I'm like doubling everything. Anyway, so I'm hoping, I have 8 hours left on the audio at the speed that I do it, which is 1.5. So I'm hoping to get a good chunk of this done, at least I'm hoping to get most of the 4 hours done. So I'm another third of the way through. And then hopefully this week sometime I can pick it up or even just listen to it an hour a day. I don't hate it. It's just, you have to get into the kind of more not older language. That's not what I mean. It's like different, it's older. Right? It's not the time period in the story is older. So there's not all the technology stuff. There's all this, more stuff about and the political stuff is all different, and what people do. And I had to figure out, like, sometimes when we're talking about a certain person, what they did. And I'm like, what is that? Anyway, it's not that hard. It's just, I'm making it harder than it is. But I want to get through this for Jane Austen July. So again, I'm going to try to get the audiobook done soon. And then I could say I've read Walter Scott, and maybe I'll read more of the Waverley novels. I am enjoying it. Like, it's hard for me to explain how, there's just so much going on, but it's also like, I'm not sure where it's going. So I'm not sure what to say and what not to. Maybe I gave away something. I don't know. It's a book that I'm glad I picked up because I've always wanted to know, to try to read it. It's just, I don't know, interesting. So I'm still at the beginning of the other Bennet sister by Janice Hadlow. I'm still only like 40 pages in. I don't know what it is about this book. I I just think it just hurts me, I think, to read about Mary at the beginning. So Mary's the middle sister of the Bennet sisters from Pride and Prejudice, and this is her story, and it's told from her perspective. So we're getting all her thoughts and her insecurities and stuff like this, and it's starting out when she's young, and some of it is just painful, and you're just hurt for her. And I'm having trouble getting past this early part. So I think we're getting closer to when Pride and Prejudice actually starts. I haven't got there yet. So I do want to try to pick this up this week or next week. I'm not sure. I do want to get it done before the end of July because I have started it and I would really like to finish it. So we'll see. I'm going to try to pick this up this week, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I did get the audiobook from my library just in case if I needed a little help, but we'll see. And so yesterday after I DNF'd Pemberley, I was like, what am I going to read? And that threw me off DNFing that book because I had planned to finish that out yesterday. So I was like, oh, what am I going to read? So I did try 2 books, and one of them I'm going to continue right now. The other one, hopefully I'll get before the end of the month, but I tried Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Marina Garcia. So this is, she doesn't say exactly the time frame, but it's like Mexico City in a kind of alternate world where there are vampires and people know about them. And Mexico City is kind of cut off from the north where I guess the vampires come from. But we meet, is it Adel? I don't know how you say her name. She was somebody from north. And she's hiding because some people are after her, and she has this cool dog, which I can't even say that name of the dog, who is with her. And then she meets a young man who is a runaway, or is 17-year-old who has been a runaway and is living on the streets, and kind of their interaction. Then we kind of see the guys who are trying to get him that are another kind of vampire sect. They're all different kinds. They all drink or get their blood from different sources. And so it's a really different thing. It's just a little slow, and I wasn't feeling up for something slow yesterday. So I read about 30 pages. Yeah. And which was how many chapters? I read 4 chapters. So I think there's short chapters. So I think this is another one where I think I just need to give it a little bit more time and I'll get into it and then I'll just fly through it. But it was kind of slow for me at the beginning. But yesterday I wasn't feeling it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll put it down, but I'm coming back to it. I've already started it. And I picked up the second book in Stay a Spell series called Don't Hex and Drive by Juliet Cross. So I read Wolf Gone Wild early this month. That was it was one of the first physical book I finished this month that I carried over from June. So I did go ahead and buy the next book in this series because I did like book 1 pretty well. So far I like this one. We meet one of this group of witches and their sisters, and this one is one of the sisters that wasn't in the first book. She was actually on a trip with one of the other ones. So we only met 3 of the 5 sisters in the first book. So this one we're going to see the 2 that had been missing. And one of them, she is very much, her power is able to help heal things and to take care, of people and things. And she has her own little issue. She has a lot of issues with other people. And she is on her bike in, again, this takes place in New Orleans, and she is hit by a Lamborghini. Just like a block from her house. And it's her new neighbor, and he is a vampire named Dev. And they, it's of course, it's a paranormal romance, but it's funny, but it's not, he didn't mean to hit her. It was like a total accident at night. And she was wearing all dark clothing, and she had a dark bike and everything. And so, and he was almost home, so he wasn't paying. Anyway, it was cute. So they're having to deal with each other at close proximity because he is their new neighbor and things going on. And then there's some women who are going missing. So there's always like a mystery too in these just slight, I think, in the back. I think he's going to be looking to find out who is taking these young women, and I think she's going to get involved in that as well. I'm not sure yet. I'm only 40 pages in. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. It's going to be I'm hoping a fun ride like the other one, and I'm just going to enjoy it. So anyway, so I picked that up. And then the other thing I'm going to read this week, I'm starting my buddy read with Tea and All the Books on Monday for the next book in the Hidden Legacy series. This is book 4, but it's the first book in the second trilogy, and was a novella that was before this, so that was 3.5, so this is number 4. So Sapphire Flames follows Catalina, and I'm pretty sure this is like a couple years beyond the other series, because at least it sounds like she's older on the back, but I'm not sure. So we'll see. She was in the novella, she was like 18, I believe. So she was just getting out of high school kind of time. And so I think this takes place a little bit later. And it's her and her family, which I love the family in the Hidden Legacy. So this is a world where magic came into being about in the 1800s. And so there are big magic powerhouses kind of things, and they're called houses. And there are primes, and she is a prime in their house. And her ability is something before is not something she wants people to know what it is and stuff. So we'll see how this goes. As I said, I love Ilona Andrews for their action, their romance, their found families, as well as their regular families that are in this one. This one's great because they have a family that you just get to know in the other series. I'm hoping to see how that goes in this. I have high hopes for this series. The last book is coming out at the end of August, I believe. So we'll read this one in July, and we'll read Emerald Blaze in August, and then Ruby Fever, which is the last one, probably in September, and finish it out. I'm hoping. I just want to, as I said, the first part of the series was really, first trilogy was awesome. The novella was fun, and I want to see what happens with this one. So that is everything. The only last thing for Jane Austen July is I have been having my Jane Austen July weekend where I watch all my favorite adaptations. So my Pride and Prejudice, 1995. Of course, I watched this on Friday night after work. I needed it. Yesterday, I watched Persuasion. I think this is 96. I don't remember what year. Anyway, I really enjoy this version. To me, is my version. I have not seen the new one, nor will I be able to because I do not have Netflix. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it and some people hate it. So I'm not worried about seeing it anytime soon, the new one. To me, I DNF'd the trailer, as I've told you. So it would take a lot for me to watch it right now. So maybe in a few years if I get Netflix again at some point, maybe I will. But I'm not looking to do that at this point, but I did watch my favorite. And then today I'll watch the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. Not my favorite, but I do like this one. The music, and it's so pretty. Like, it's just a pretty movie. So it's not like a big commitment to watch this short movie, and it's a pretty thing. Anyway, but those are my favorites. I should probably find other ones, but those are the ones I like. Anyway, so that's kind of it. I think that's everything. I think we'll just do the board here really quick. Sorry, I'm a talky person today. So I did DNF 1. What did I read? I read 2 nonfictions. I started a series. I continued a series. Well, I'm going to put down 2 continue because the next book is coming out. So it's not technically the end of that series, of the bear one. What else did I read? Oh, and then I read a mystery series, which was the start of a series. And then, is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. So, not bad. Oh, and I did read 3 of those were ebooks. So anyway, I'm doing okay. So that's it. I'm hoping to get my stats well, mostly my goal check-in for mid-year. I'm going to try to do that and get that out this week. So you will see that this week, hopefully. Beyond that, that's kind of it. So what are you guys reading? Are you guys still into Jane Austen July? Is that I'm calming down? I want to finish Ivanhoe and hopefully the other Bennet sister and then be done with that, for Jane Austen for this year. And again, I'm going to watch one more Pride and Prejudice today, but, and then I think I'm just going to go on with other reading just because my brain I've done a lot for me, with all the stuff on Jane Austen. So what are you guys reading? Anything good? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.